All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I do have some small items for you that I think will be beneficial for you for the trip. But I'm not going to give them to you until we get closer to the trip. That way you don't lose them or whatever. It's just one of the things is nice like luggage tag ID thing that you would put on your luggage. So if you're, for whatever reason, if your sticker gets ripped off, you still have the luggage information and should get sent to the right place. And then the other thing will be a small travel lock if you want it. It's really beneficial, especially for like your backpacks. To you put the lock, you put your zippers together, and then you just put the travel lock through it. If you want it, if you don't have to take it, if you don't, or you can take it and do whatever you want with it.
You should have announced this before, because guess what I bought last weekend?
Last weekend? Shoot, I thought I was giving everyone enough time. You overachiever.
Really?
Really? How many days?
We have 43 days, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is coming up. Almost a month.
Type A.
Yes.
I have a purse
But-
that's like steel proof.
Nice.
Not like steel, like the metal, like.
I was like, that would be kind of. Well, steel purse.
No, I know. Yeah, like metal. Like, oh,
Yeah.
take that.
You can travel on purse, and basically, like, it has all the automatic, like, lock in place, like lock your zippers together. It's like slash proof. It's like scan proof. I got it before I went on the last trip. It's nice.
Which brings me to this. It's what? How much?
It was like $30.
Yeah. This is a supposedly the same kind of concept, like a steel-proof backpack. They're not steel-proof. I mean, you still need to, be aware of your surroundings. But all of us are going on a trip together, which means we'll probably spend a lot of time together. Which also means that that makes us an easy target because they usually look for people in groups, right? And the people who look for the people in groups are the thieves and the, like the.
Small
Oh
group,
wow. Yeah.
We're a small group, like not like the Minnesota school. That's.
Will we be with them?
Yeah, we'll be with with those schools the whole time. Yeah. So, excuse me. So basically, there are 3 small groups together that will make up one large group.
What's the other school? Minnesota.
Some Connecticut school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's Ohio and Connecticut.
That's a big group.
Ohio Christian, is that right?
Yeah.
I left my notes in the office, but yeah. Anyway, so they're trained to look for people who are looking up and looking at groups or looking at buildings and structures and things like that. So.
We need to get those fancy glasses that do look like we're looking straight forward, but we're actually looking up. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
Nope.
magnifying the sight.
Anybody else know what she's talking about?
No, I don't understand what you're saying.
You don't know under.
Oh, like a periscope?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that won't be obvious at all. Yeah, no one will figure that out. Anyway, what makes this backpack different, than like this backpack is all the zippers are exposed on this backpack. You can see very easily unzip, and they're fast and they're sneaky. It's pretty surprising. This one, if you look, it's actually it's covered up, it's protected. All the zippers are inside of the backpack, like touching me or touching my back or of some sort. But even still, me personally, this is just me. You don't have to do this. I'm not trying to scare you. I went to Paris and I had no problems, but there is a room for a lock on here, which I probably will lock if I bring this with me. I don't know if I will be bringing my computer everywhere with me. I would doubt that since I have my cell phone. But if I did, that's what I would do. Then it's got like zippers and things behind here for like passports and wallets and things like that. But again, everything is touching me, so therefore I will definitely be feeling someone lifting up my backpack to get into it. It is made out of a thicker material, so it's harder to stab or cut. Like Sydney's, it is supposed to be RFID protecting, which means they can't just scan your credit card and get your information.
You guys
So.
want a purse? I fell in that one boutique that I work at.
The special ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And we
$30
have
bucks.
wallets too.
Do they got man purses?
You have men's satchels or European.
No, but it's not
Travel
super
bags?
girly.
Mm.
Wait, what boutique?
What color?
It's in
You would
Woodland,
rock
Iowa.
a man
It's
purse.
called Mitzi Mo's. So we have like jewelry, home decor, like that kind of stuff. Like we redo furniture.
But there are no men wallets, just.
There are men
fin-
wallets, but
Oh.
like it's like a wallet. It's not a purse.
It's like a wallet.
Yes, a
Oh,
wallet.
yeah,
I didn't
okay.
do wallet.
But it has like the RFID. Oh, that's
Yeah.
Where
nice.
is this at?
In Glenwood, Iowa.
Okay.
I'm going there this
Englandwood,
Friday.
Iowa?
Glenwood.
Glenwood, Iowa, Brandon. Glenwood, Iowa. And Key,
Glenwood.
if you watch this part.
Yeah. Well, I work there every Friday.
Every Friday. So should we go on a field trip? Is that what you're saying?
It takes forever to get there. now
Because
with
of all the flooding?
Yeah.
So how do you get there? Do you have to go up to 370 or?
Yeah, I
You
go
do.
through
You do
70
go
and
through
then
Bellevue.
Bellevue. That toll bridge makes so much money now.
Yes,
Mhm.
they do.
Yeah, it's
I
a
bet they want it to
private
flood every year.
Well, they were flooded for a couple days too, and then
Right.
it like went down or whatever, and now they're making up all the money.
Oh, they are.
lost.
They're making bank. If you do go through the I-370, you take $2 with you, $1 so you can get over and $1 so you can get back. Okay, it's a toll bridge. But what time do you work?
10 to 5.
10 to 5, like 10 a.m.
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Not like 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. That'd be awful.
Open at night.
In Glenwood, Iowa.
That would be awful. I don't know none of the old people would come out.
No.
Like,
Which is probably your number one patron, I would
yeah,
assume.
stay-at-home moms.
Yep.
Farmer's wives.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right, Eric. Yeah. Let's go. All right. Okay.
Go get our boutique on.
Yeah, our boutique on with the farmers' wives. Okay. So what we're going to do for the first part of class is we are going to go carry some luggage up and down some steps. Brandon and Key, you should probably practice this at home. I mean, in all seriousness, I know it sounds weird and it sounds strange, but you certainly should get used to, if you fully weigh down your bags as heavy as they could possibly be, this is what you will experience when we're traveling. A lot of European locations do not have elevators, okay, because space is a premium. And so they can't waste room by putting in an elevator, okay? Plus they don't have a lot, they don't have like the Americans with Disabilities Act or anything like that they have to worry about a lot of these locations. For example, how many of you have seen, I'm going to totally butcher the name of the movie. It's a book movie by John Green. The Fault in Our Stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many of you have seen that movie, The Fault in Our Stars? Okay. When they go up into the the what? Anne Frank house. Yep. There is no mechanical easy way for her to get up there. She has to take the ladders and the stairs. Okay. So that we might run into that kind of stuff too. I don't think we'd have to deal with ladders, but definitely stairs. So this silver bag right here, if you were to take the full weight of a main bag, like if you were to load it up as heavy as it could go, you'd be right at 50 pounds, which is what this guy is. Okay. This next bag is 25 pounds. We're in kind of an argument, disagreement, and you can correct me if we're wrong or whatever, about how much the carry-on can weigh.
For which one?
For Lufthansa.
They
Lufthansa.
carry-ons?
They don't.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen.
They might.
The website said 17.
They really just kind of look at the size of
Yeah, I was
carry-on.
thinking if your
For
size
Lufthansa,
is
it said
under.
it says the carry-on can be 17 max.
Okay.
Okay.
So what? And you're sure it said carry-on and not personal item? Because we're going to look here in just a second anyway.
I mean, we
but-
did double check. That was the website was a
No.
little confusing. But
They don't normally weigh carry-ons and personal items, but I'm just letting you know that there usually is a weight limit. Like if you're going to get into an argument with them and like, no, that's the right size, see it fits. Well, then they can say, well, but how heavy is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Be careful of your luggage. If you notice, this piece of luggage falls forward all the time. So the reason why this one doesn't is because it's got 4 wheels. It's got a nice stable platform. This one on the bottom, it has this little doohickey down here, this little metal thing that you can pop out and make it more stable. But it's a pain in the butt to do that, especially if it's folded or if it's fully loaded. Okay. So this one's at 25 pounds, and then you'll also take a backpack because this would be your carry-on, right? I put the carry-on at 16 pounds. Again, this is about the size. It's the size of a regular backpack. Actually, mine's probably a little taller than what might be acceptable, but this is what I'm taking. So
So would that be our carry-on or our personal?
this would be your personal item. Carry-on heavy duty regular. Sorry, I don't have the massive piece of luggage because I never carry the massive piece of luggage. You know what I'm talking about, the one that's twice as tall. Yeah, yeah.
Let me know, I would have brought mine. So
Got mine in my room.
Well, I asked Dr. C and she didn't show up, so. So a couple of things. 4 wheels is by far best if you haven't already purchased it. Sorry if you have and you only purchased 2 wheels. Another thing about your backpack that might be very beneficial is that it has like a travel strap in the middle. So that way you can do something like this. And then now it's attached to your luggage and you don't have to worry about putting it on your back and putting any strain on your back. It's all right there. What's wrong?
Do we have to carry all 3 of those up the stairs?
Yes.
What? At the
Why?
same time?
All 3?
I will not be having
Listen. All you have to do, I'm not even going to make you go up 2 flights of stairs like you should. I'm just going to make you go up the 1 flight, okay? Yes, because what's going to happen, and Sydney, correct me if I'm wrong, there will be times where you walk throughout the town where you have to take your luggage with you.
I know.
I have heard numerous stories from numerous travelers where they have had the buses broken down or something like that, so they had to carry their luggage with them, something along those lines for the day. So I'm just letting you know that things can happen, so plan accordingly.
Yeah.
I'm only making you go up 1 flight of stairs.
That's not what I'm just saying, like, I don't think any of us would bring like 2 suitcases and a backpack. I was picturing like one, like if someone was gonna check a suitcase, it'd be a larger one, and then our carry-on would be like attached to the backpack would be on our.
When we went, there
Right,
were some
but-
girls that had a larger suitcase and a smaller suitcase
Really?
as well.
Wow.
Yes.
The
Oh my
smaller suitcase, they said, could fit into their larger one. That way, on the way there, it was fine. But as they got souvenirs, they put the souvenirs in the smaller suitcase. So then that was their carry-on, and then they had a personal item as well.
Yeah. And I'm just letting you know, I mean, whether you think you're going to pack like this or not, and like I said, I would have brought the bigger one, and that would have been the 50-pounder, but I don't have access to one of those.
Yeah, I'm just surprised by the amount.
I'm just telling you, I want you to be prepared. I want you to have that experience. So if we get over there and for what, God forbid, you actually back 3 bags and to the max weight, Mr. Vaught didn't tell us, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
We just figured it out. I'm gonna stick it at the bottom of the stairs and everybody can take 1 piece at a time.
No, everybody, so what will happen, you'll all be at the bottom, one person will go up, and then you'll come back down. But coming down will be easy. Then the next person will go up, and then come back down. Okay? No, there is no time limit. I just want you to get the experience. Don't freak out on me. Don't lose it. You're going to be fine. It's 1 flight of freaking stairs. For those of you at home, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to leave it recording because if I stop it, then I got to do 2 recordings, and that's lame, so I'm not going to do that. So just fast forward to where you see me on the screen again. All right.
Oh, goodness.
No, we're not going to record this. No, because I'm already getting enough for you guys. I'll go first, okay?
I don't think I brought appropriate shoes for this.
I'm gonna break my toe today.
Okay, we're back. So at this point, you should have fast forwarded that's Sydney. At this point, you should have fast forwarded to see me again, unfortunately. And we are going to hear from two people today. We were supposed to hear from Sammy last week, so she's definitely going to present today. And then when she's done, hopefully Key will be back from work, and we'll hear from her and her presentation. And then after that, we will get into finishing up Chapter 5 with a very interesting and interactive tic-tac-toe activity. So, yeah, be ready. Okay, cool. Yeah, let me make sure that I'm not projecting anything, which I don't think I am.
Is the projector on?
Nope. Must have turned off. All right. I'm going to give you this. I bequeath a speaker of awesomeness.
Thank you, thank you. Everyone's super quiet now.
Well, yeah.
Out of breath.
Ready for
Yeah,
you.
out of breath is more. That's me, man. I mean,
Is this
I look all
2:30?
confident and everything, but by the time I
Yes.
got to the bottom, I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying.
Which arm hurts when you're about to have a heart attack?
2:30 isn't. Wait, there it is. I gotta scroll down.
Give it a second. Yeah.
I like your flowers.
Thank you.
The peonies.
Are those your own flowers?
No, I don't have a green thumb like my mom, so
So those are
they
your mom's
would die.
flowers?
No, like I'm saying, my mom and I both cannot
Oh,
plant flowers.
Tried to plant a tree and a deer ate it. I didn't put a tube around it.
Oh, yeah.
A little seedling, you know.
Okay,
2 days later.
so I don't think you could see this. There we go. Oh, I should. Does this help me like change slides too? Because I've never gotten
Nope.
to use this. It
You
doesn't.
just touch your screen.
Okay, well then I'll
Your
just.
iPad's mobile, so you can just carry it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I know, right? You're amazing.
So I'm doing mine on the Uspensky Cathedral, and so I have the actual address there. And then this is my about. It was built between 1862 and 1868, so it took 6 years. It was designed by Alexei Gornostajev. When it Americanized his name, it put a J there, so I'm just gonna pretend the Y is
Right.
pronounced J.
Probably
So
very accurate.
it was built like almost immediately after he passed away. It's dedicated to the Dormition of the Theotokos, or the Virgin Mary. Which I actually have notes on this that I'll grab really fast because I'm not of this belief, so I didn't know what a lot of this was. But it's the seat of the Archdiocese of Helsinki in the Finnish Orthodox Church, and I didn't know what that meant, so I looked it up because I assumed nobody else would know what it meant. So, it explained it as the diocese of an archbishop, a bishop at the head of an ecclesiastical province, or one of the equivalent honorary ranks. I don't know if that clears that up for you guys,
So
but
it's a Catholic church.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's an Orthodox Catholic church,
Mhm.
which means very, very traditional, is
Mhm.
basically what that means.
Yes. It's the largest Orthodox church in Western Europe, and it's the clear symbol of Russian impact on Finnish history. The next one, where we talk about the architecture more, kind of explains why it shows the impact of the Russians. And then it gets 500,000 visits annually.
Wait. So just on the top of the building, you can see the Russian influence, like the round, the round.
They're called cupolas.
Cupolas, yeah. And instead of just leaving it pointed with like a medieval type cross or something on top, yeah. So just even from the outside, you can tell.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then the architecture is based off of a 16th century church in Moscow, so that's some of the Russian influence. It's a Russian Byzantine architecture style. The bricks from Bormesson Fortress in Åland, which the fortress was completely destroyed in the Crimean War in 1854. These were the ones they were able to salvage for the chapel. And then at the top, what we were talking about, the 13 green and gold onion domes or cupolas. The main one at the top here, the biggest one, represents Jesus Christ, and then the 12 smaller ones represents the 12 apostles. Yeah. And then I'll have pictures of this, but beneath the domes inside are beautifully shaped and adorned arches and Byzantine-style crosses. And when I say they're really beautiful, like they're really, really colorful, there's a lot of gold in them. The main one kind of looks like a night sky to me, but we'll see a picture of that. And then on the main back wall is a large iconostasis, which is a wall of religious paintings and icons built by Russian artists. So the icons are just kind of like the saints of the Catholic religion. One icon is believed to work miracles, but I kept looking this up and it didn't really say which one worked miracles. It might be one that I talk about later, but it didn't say specifically.
So there's Catholicism, and then there's the Orthodox Church, which they are definitely different because of that idea right there, the iconoclasts, the icons, the idea that you pray to a figure or a figurine or something like that, or to some kind of object, because you think it has some kind of miraculous powers or what have you. And that's where the Catholic Church, they had their major split between the Orthodox Church and then the Catholic Church. Other than that, they're very similar.
Yeah.
So which one does
The icons and the iconoclast is the Orthodox Church.
Orthodox.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And you basically see that split in Western Europe versus Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you're going to talk about that, but
No.
yeah. And that goes back to the Roman Empire, when the Roman Empire got into the Catholic Church and creating Catholicism and all that kind of stuff. The Byzantine Empire decided that they were going to go with the Orthodox way of doing things, and they believed in these icons, and they're called iconoclasts and things like that. But I'm sure you'll show us some pictures. So.
And then on the south side is a 3-story bell tower, which when it explained it in a lot of the articles I read, it said it'd make the Notre Dame jealous, like how big it is and beautiful, and it's like over the top. And then there's a gorgeous display of chandeliers hanging from the vaulted ceiling, which it also explains that this is really rare for chapels for some reason. Well, for cathedrals, because they do main candle lights. They don't do chandeliers. So it says this one's different because of that. So this is the main dome with the night sky I was telling you about. Here's some of the icons that you kind of start to see. The crosses. And then I don't know what those say, but they're obviously Bible verses and stuff like that, but I don't.
I believe it's Cyrillic, which is like the Russian language, that Russian alphabet. You might be able to Google image that and be able to tell what it says, but I'm sure you're exactly right that they would be
Bible verses.
Yeah.
The next one's kind of the same picture, but you get to see the chandelier a little bit more. Some of these will look very similar, but they have a purpose. Each one kind of have a purpose. This shows the chandeliers more, and you can kind of see the iconostasis behind. But I have better pictures where you can see them better, but this was just for the chandelier part. This is the iconostasis. This is the better one. And then I have some fun facts. This isn't the actual icon of St. Nicholas because they've never recovered it, but in August 16th, 2007, it was stolen midday actually while hundreds of tourists were there, and it was held in a glass case and everything, and for some reason no one saw it get stolen, and they still haven't found it to this day. Yeah. And then this bottom one is Theotokos of Kozlchon, which is the Virgin of Mary. Was stolen in June 2010 and wasn't recovered until February 2011.
Why are people stealing them?
I have no idea. Both of them were stolen midday when tourists were there.
Probably the same guy.
Yeah.
So. Oh, never mind.
References. And that's it.
Yeah, awesome.
They didn't have a lot of information on it that I was trying to look up.
I bet we find a lot when we go there. Even more. Good, good. I like it. So, yeah, go ahead and stop airplaying for us.
It'll take me a few. Oh, there we go.
That's fine. Trying to think what else I want to tell you about that.
I can look at my notes.
No. I mean, yeah, you can if you want. If there's something you wanted to add, sure.
So that's unorthodox Catholic, or what is?
It's
theater?
Finnish Orthodox. Finnish Orthodox.
So they're
That's
super,
just
super
Orthodox.
strict.
No, like Catholic.
Well, it's
So
so.
ignorant to religion.
No. So the church, the Catholic Church, when in its first like 500 years or so, it had a major split. Okay, and it split from the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church. And the only major difference is that the Orthodox Church really follows these icons, these iconoclasts, which means that these pictures really help them focus and really get them into to worshiping, and they at times will pray to these pictures. Or,
Yeah, have any of you been to the cathedral in Washington, D.C.? Like, there's the main area, and then behind the main area, they have all the saints. They have the Virgin Mary as the big main one. And when we went, there were several different people at each icon saying a specific prayer. So, and there's different candles you could light for each one. They all serve a different purpose. So,
They
the
all
St.
have-
Nicholas one was the Wonder Maker. So, wherever you pray, they're in charge of like a specific prayer.
And they all have their own saints, like the patron saint of travelers, or the patron saint of childbearing, or what have you. But the way I understand it, and I could be wrong because I'm not an Orthodox Christian or Orthodox Catholic, but the way I understand it is that they will actually pray to the pictures. Whereas if you go into a Catholic church that we know, it's primarily that you see the cross and Jesus. It's primarily what you see. You might see something, a picture or a statue or something of Mary and possibly Joseph. You'll see some things around, like of the crucifixion and things like that, but it's all centered around Jesus, not necessarily around all the saints. There are saints in the Catholic Church.
But they're not necessarily like prayed to, or they are. Sorry.
The main Catholic Church, okay, they have the Rosary, right? And they have
Right.
each bead. They have, what is it? It's the prayer specifically to Mary. Like they really only pray
Hail
to however Hail Marys. They have that, but they also pray to the Pope because they believe that the Pope is the one who sends all prayers up into Jesus Christ. But then in this one, they pray to like these statues of different saints.
Exactly. So, I mean, I can't speak for all Catholics. I'm sure that there are some who do, because I know they have coins and necklaces and things like that they carry with them that to help them at least remember what they're doing or what they're saying or what they want to believe or what have you. But as far as praying to them, I'm sure everybody's a little different on that.
Yeah.
So, very good. Bravo. I like it. Thank you. Okay, just go ahead and give that right over to Keegan. Keegan will wow us with her information, and then whenever he is here, we'll basically stop whatever we're doing, and we'll get right into her presentation. So.
Okay, so does everyone have their books with them today?
Oh, dude, I thought that was but
Oh,
I know, isn't that awesome?
that's sweet.
Okay, so what you need to do is pull out your books and review chapter 5. If you have any specific questions about it, or you got to an area and it was kind of fuzzy, you'd like maybe some clarification on a subject, or you would just like it to possibly be discussed today, write it on the sticky note so that we make sure we hit that topic for sure. If you guys could at least have one sticky note, I'd appreciate it, whether it's a question you want to ask or something you want clarification on, the topic that you think should be discussed, whether you have a question on it or not, you just think it's a good topic to be discussed.
that kind of thing. And then, yeah. So, and then if you have more than one sticky note that you'd like to have, please write that down as well.
There's at least a few there, I think.
So if you're gonna want to write on that, it'll either have to be from your iPad or we'll have to find you a dry erase marker.
Can I use one of those? Okay.
Sure can.
Wanna go first?
It depends, I don't think you know the rules yet.
Okay, and then, while I write these up on the board real quick, when you guys have your sticky note ready, do you want to just come and set it on the side of the board?
There might still be running involved. You might have to go pick yours off the board and then put it up in the right spot.
Oh my God.
That was more aggressive than I intended it to be, so that's my bad. I forget how powerful I am.
Right,
Tone
just
it
drop
back,
the-
tone it back a bit.
Listen, as Dr. Velarde calls me, Sid Vicious.
Yeah. Out. That's a great name for a cheerleader.
Nah,
Sid Vicious.
I don't know why. He said it was because I'm just so intimidating. I don't see it.
What happened? Oh, that's what happened.
Black or red, you know?
Let's do red.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got pink paper.
It is, because that's usually the opposite for other countries.
Can I just like?
America is by far and away the most confident. Like, through surveys and research studies, they found that American schools, they're like, yeah, I got this, I know this stuff, and then they fail.
Yeah.
So much.
Can I
But
put
then,
like a
but then the rest of
quote
the
that I
world,
like from the book?
they
Yeah.
actually know their stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't fail, but they're not confident at it. Especially, yeah. Right, and you work, you're not good enough, you work more, you're not good enough, you work more. And so, yeah, naturally, that would make sense, right? But then they know their stuff. Oh, sure.
Dr. Ruskin, high expectations.
Right.
The kids are really smart. I put success by being different because I like that success by being different. And then I also put it was more like it discusses germ, and I just still always get confused about like what germ is. I know it's bad.
Global educational reform movement.
Yeah. But like specifically like what it like does and why it's bad.
Well, so when we talk about, so it's an acronym, obviously, it's a metaphor for, when we get terms, we get sick, right? And that's what he's saying with education. That global educational reform movement, they're trying to come up with these huge, massive ideas, and they're basically, and that's what's killing our schools. That's
It's
what's,
not, it can't be universal, it has to be like individualized.
exactly,
Countries need.
exactly.
Not just for the students.
What's good for Finland isn't not necessarily what will work or what is good for America or our students. It might be, we don't know, we haven't really tried it. But what they're saying is this idea where we unify, we do everything together and all that kind of stuff, and everybody does education the exact same way. It's not how it's going to work. So, yeah. I hope that clears that up.
What the heck?
She's
Oh.
typing.
Sarah!
Where'd it go?
It's under settings.
It is.
Yeah, it's under settings. Actually, if you pull that screen back down,
If we go right here.
well, not, yeah, I mean, just do, yeah, there's settings in the bottom. And then it is under screen display display and brightness, I believe. Under control center. Yeah, auto lock for 2 minutes.
You put never?
Just never.
Sweet.
For this, and then you'll have to go back.
Perfect.
There, now it'll never go off.
Yes.
Sorry, I was trying to help you.
No, you're okay.
Hey, 43 days. 43 days, in case you didn't hear that at the beginning of class. Yeah, I'm totally stoked. Sammy, so did anybody get you caught up with class that you missed on, from last week? Okay, alright, good. We'll basically be going through our own little, like, hey, it's almost time to go, these are the things to remember, like, in the next couple of weeks, probably in a couple of weeks in a row. We'll definitely get your test and your study guide out to you. Honestly, at this point in time, I'm just gonna combine all your tests into one test. And it'll be open book, and or open internet, and or open computer, and or, I'll get all the, PowerPoints posted online, so you can use those as well, because the answers are gonna come directly from the PowerPoints. Okay.
Like our PowerPoints?
Like your PowerPoint, yeah. Woo. So you should know yours for sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All about the PowerPoint. That was confusing, man, trying to figure out that.
It is.
Government systems, you know.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we have everyone's sticky notes. Oh, nope. Okay, so how this is gonna work is I need you guys to be divided into X's and O's. So X, O, X, O, X, O. So X is over here, O's over here.
Where's the X's?
Come on, Eric.
Sorry, I looked away like right as you did.
ABC,
So yeah, X's and O's.
What are the X's?
Wait, where are the O's?
We're here.
I would say, yeah, I think, are we even? Fantastic. Okay, so what you're gonna do is, this is your X's and O's game board, okay? To be able to put your X or O up there, you have to answer the question first. So, you have to check with me if you know the answer, and I can tell you whether or not you're right. And if you're right, you get to go. So one person has to be your, I'll raise the hand, like your hand person, get my attention.
Can I need a designated?
And then one person needs to be the run up and mark it off. So it can be the same person, but I don't know, trying to get everyone involved here. So like an example would be the very top corner. What is perusculo?
Wait, so are we answering this as a
Yeah.
group? Or
You as your team
Okay.
will answer
Got it?
together.
Got it?
Yep. So, and then of course, like regular tic-tac-toe, the first one to make 3 in a row wins.
It's all.
You should start with,
What is the finish?
you should start with like a question, because whoever controls the board has a huge advantage, right? So you should start with one question first, do you think?
Rock,
Yeah.
paper, scissors.
Yeah. We can
Okay,
start with one
and
question.
this is how we will know if you get to answer the question, because you will be the first person to take the Kleenex out of this box. The box should not move, by the way. The Kleenex should. Does that make
Wait, what
sense?
are we doing?
She's gonna ask you a question.
Do we have to take a tissue?
Yes. So that's like your buzzer, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
So we have to, like,
because we're going
jump
for-
over here.
Yeah. That's right, Sarah. You get ready.
Can I sit at this table?
That's right. Sarah's already ready. Did I-
Okay. Okay, so we'll try a practice one just to make sure everybody's on the same
Both your
page.
hands
Wait,
should
are
be
we
behind your back.
standing up?
Okay, yeah, go ahead and stand up.
If you want
Okay.
to get that Kleenex before Sarah does.
So you have to answer. You guys get to use your books.
Yep.
Okay, so like our practice one will be, what is perosculio? Go.
No, grab the Kleenex. Okay, she gets the answer.
I have to answer it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, your group can help you out. Then you.
And you
answer.
can use your book. It's just
It's the,
3.
9-year comprehensive basic school.
What is
What?
today, though?
it's
What did you just
High
say?
school. I heard.
Go through it one more time.
School.
The
I have 9-year comprehensive
basic,
basic school. What is
Okay.
it today?
That-
That was not the question.
Oh, so yes, it is 6 years.
That is what it is. Yeah.
Okay,
Alright.
so then, like, they answered it right, so they would grab the marker, wherever it just up here too. Oh, okay, so then you would get the marker, and you would skedaddle on up to the board. There you go. and erase the question, and then put your X's.
Yes.
So you'd put an X.
And I got.
Okay? So then that's how it is. So then, you guys don't have to work on the same question. Like, that's what makes it kind of crazy and confusing, is you can work on whichever one, but just remember, if they figure out, like, this one, and this one before you guys figure out what one of them is to stop them, then it's hard. So, we're ready. Okay, so, I'll write the last question on the board. Y'all turn around because y'all cheating. I see you got it in your books looking at the board.
Abby.
You're repeating the question?
What?
Yeah. She's changing the question. So.
Yeah, I'm just one of the questions.
You can't look up here. Let's see.
I'm not. I can't see the board. You're
Our
blocking it.
absolute. Wow. She just called me back.
Okay, I got called back.
No, you did not.
I did.
Shut the front door.
I did, and I looked at him and I got really sad. So I'm not.
Did you punch him in the face?
Yeah, what's up?
You're changing the question?
No, just.
No, I'm just changing the first one, the parascolio that we just did.
Why?
Because that was practice.
I thought you were mad because I wasn't questions.
No, I'm mad at you for looking at the question that she's writing.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh, sure.
No, I was looking for new ones. I have
Yeah,
two
Julie
books.
said you're lying, and she's your best friend.
Eric.
Okay, so
I
thought you would be off. Does somebody want to go grab the grade one so each group has a
Yeah.
measure?
Can we turn around?
Here you go.
Do you need more
this-
markers?
Nope, that's it. Just those two.
Can I turn around?
In just a second. Okay, so
Bye, Kitty.
Sorry.
okay, so you can go in 3, 2, 1, go. But remember, you have to check with me first before you put your X on the board.
What are we doing?
Which one?
The principals one.
Which principles one?
Educational
Okay,
principles.
which one are you doing?
The educational
right here.
principles?
Okay,
Which
Okay,
one should we answer?
can I read them
What
off?
question do we want to answer, guys?
Yeah,
Do I
go
tell you
ahead.
them? 1, the quality of an education system cannot exceed the quality of its teachers. 2, the only way to improve outcomes is to improve instruction. And 3, achieving universal high outcomes is only possible by putting in place mechanisms to ensure that schools deliver high quality instruction to every child.
It's yours.
Okay.
Sweet. Can we do another one now?
Yep, you can do another
As
one.
you can, as fast as we can.
We're ready for the Can I do finish stream?
Here, whoever's going.
Help all students find their talent and passion in school. Aw, so sweet. Did I get it? It's on page 1.
Yes, they got another O.
Yes. Oh, yeah. What is now the only one you need to do is what is one considered issue?
Of what?
What is one considered issue?
Multiple intelligences.
We should look for that one though. So we
What is one considered issue contemplating the transfer ideas of the Finnish education system to other countries?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a problem?
No.
It's in chapter
it's in
5.
chapter
These
5.
are all in chapter 5.
Oh, these are
all in chapter 5. Yeah.
This is where we've been failing.
Oh, honey.
Can I do the first interrelated factor?
Yeah.
Less. I'm not sure. Let me grab it.
Okay, go ahead.
Actually, I'm not sure if it's right. If I get it wrong,
It doesn't affect you if you
is
get
it
it
the
wrong.
less classroom-based teaching or is it the wrong section?
Wrong section. And like, the interrelated factors aren't actually numbered, they're just bolded. You just have to look at the.
Like successful education reform.
Wait, what was the
Not that
question for
bolded.
the considered issue?
Which one?
The considered issue.
The considered issue?
Yeah.
It was for when transferring the education system of Finland to other schools.
Okay.
Sorry, maybe my reading upside
Teaching
down.
is
Oh.
an inspiring profession that attracts many young Finns.
Which one is it?
The interrelated factor.
Wait, so why
This
did we
one is
lose
number
our
2.
X?
Oh, that's the complementary
Sorry,
principle.
I had a different
This
idea
is
of how we were
the
gonna do this,
interrelated.
and I didn't talk
This
about
is
that
the
with you
interrelated.
first, so.
See how it's bolded the first one. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they go there.
Okay. Here's the O. Here's the green. Can I answer
Which one?
the top question?
What is
No.
considered issue?
Yeah. All right. So it says right here that it is hard to imagine how Finland's education success could be achieved or maintained without reference to a national border.
Oh, it's this one.
Like this one right here. Could that be part of it?
Yes, good,
It's
go.
not the one I'm looking at, but it's Close.
But you.
I've got the fourth interrelated factor. right here.
All right, I got it before you did.
Okay, hold
But
on.
I got one of them.
But you didn't do it fast enough.
Okay.
But I told her
that
before.
was the, which one?
No, they
Fourth
told me.
interrelated factor.
Yes, that is
Yeah,
the
that's it,
fourth
go.
interrelated factor. Okay, which one's yours?
She already. Can I do the complementary principle too?
Complementary
Is it
principle two,
sociocultural factors?
Or you need the complementary principle too.
Which one is it?
Cultural factors? No. I was looking at that.
Mm-mm.
That's the complementary principle. Yes, I was.
This class
No.
More personality learning. Focus on social skills.
Oh, I got it. It's
You got it?
It's like complementary principle. It's the education sector productivity program and the new government program. It's this one right here. Municipalities.
That's exactly what it is.
Woo!
Sorry, guys. They got 3 in a row first.
That's okay.
You're all winners to me, guys.
You're all winners. You want to keep going, don't you? Yeah, you do. I can tell, Abby. Abby likes to compete. She likes to win.
Okay.
Was there a
Time
place
to do another round.
Yeah. What? Yeah, email.
I don't know if I emailed you.
All right, Keegan's gonna give you her name, her badge. Are you using PowerPoint or anything?
Google Slides.
Yeah, and so do you have that on your phone or do you?
Is it easier for this to go on my phone? I might.
Well, I don't know if I have slides. Yeah,
Probably not there.
it's not easy if I go on my phone.
I wouldn't think. I mean, you can try it.
It's well, yeah.
Thank you.
Because I would call them and just double check with them.
I really should change the email policy because it's so long.
Keep a stop through.
Yeah.
It is. It's ridiculously long.
I called my bank and they're like, we can mail you.
It's really hard to find information, like lots of information on this. I found a really good website, but this was hard. Okay, and then we probably need to reconnect to
So if you go all the way up to the top, and you hit that guy right there.
this.
Yep. And then we're at 2:30.
That's easy.
Wait, so one bag can be 8 pounds and one weight of luggage?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I have a handle. This is a handheld.
Yeah. Oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
I didn't buy one of those, so.
No, I've got one.
Go to the
But we won't need it until we get like
this company one.
to the airport or whatever.
I figure
We're gonna do
on
that
the way
in 2
back.
minutes. Wow. Yeah.
I'm just so slow. I'm
No,
so
it's fine.
slow.
Whatever. Show Julie. Fine.
Oh, there it is.
Which is what? What did it say?
I was showing her like the website and what it said, and it says that economy class gets one carry-on up to 8 kilograms and then 1 personal item. There's no weight specified for the personal item, but it says that the carry-on, it's 21 by 15 by 9, and it's up to 17 pounds.
Nope. Nope. Okay.
We'll do that after your presentation. Everyone else has already done that. You'll go do it. You
I
gotta
have
that
back
experience.
problems, so I can't lift anything over 25 pounds repetitively.
So what is your plan for the trip then?
I'll be fine.
All right.
Okay, so I had the Helsinki. Technically, it was the government house, but when I Googled government house, presidential palace came up, and there was government house and government palace, and so I felt like the most logical thing to do was the presidential palace. So hopefully, no one has that, or that's not an issue. So this is really one of the only pictures that I found because you can't really get inside of it, I guess. So, so information you would want to know for this is the original drawing by Per, I think it's Per Granstedt, was in the mistypo early 1800s, and someone actually took that drawing and started putting it to life. So it ended up finished in 1820, but they continuously did renovations on it. Today, it's used for presidential functions and receptions, not the official residence of the president, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I think on another slide it talks about like maybe one of the wings he lives in, but it's not like the main area. And then it's in the district and by an island. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I will butcher it. Yeah, that's a tough one. And there's no guided tours at the moment, so I thought that was interesting. I did end up finding a brochure that we're going to be able to look at, but I couldn't find. I googled pictures for inside the government house, and it was really tough finding some. So.
Well, I mean, so if we talk about the White House, and then the presidential palace, those are going to be very identical. So
yeah.
If that is where the president ever were to stay, the finished president, then you probably won't see many pictures of the inside for security purposes.
Okay. So when it was originally built, they had different wings, but it started with 2 wings. Originally at the beginning of the 19th century, it was a salt storehouse. So they obviously bulldozed that down and built this beautiful palace. J.H. Heidenstraach was an elite merchant at the time who purchased the entire lot and used the original Pierre Grandstedt's blueprints, design, and reinvented the building. So there are different wings. The Imperial Palace is part of it. It's rebuilding and furnishing, and it was done to add a new wing. The new wing was built along the north courtyard contained on the 2nd floor, which is the chapel, but now is the present library. There's a ballroom, banquet hall in connection with the reception floor of the main building and a kitchen. So this is one of the wings to the building. I was really confused when I was researching at first. I was like, wait, is the Imperial Palace part of this palace or not? So yes, it is. It was worked on for 3 years, and then the palace was completed in 1845 with repairs from time to time due to it being unoccupied and not regularly heated, which would make sense back then. And it's a big house, so I don't know how you would occupy that continuously. And then 1863 is a memorable year for this wing because Finnish Parliament was to be opened by Caesar in the Great Ballroom, which was converted into a throne room with the imperial throne in the background. And again, I apologize because there's not a lot of pictures because I wanted to find a picture of this throne room because I was like, wow, that'd be really cool, but could not find it. So I don't know where that picture is, but I'm sure it's really cool. So it does hold purpose to different kinds of use. During World War I, which I thought this was really cool, the residence was converted into the military hospital of the Finnish Senate. And then during the very first years of Finland's independence, one of the upper floors was served as the Ministry for Foreign Affairs. And then we get to the other wing, which is the Presidential Palace. And this contains the office of the President of the Republic and the premises used by the President for official functions and receptions. So again, this is where your main Congress would get together, do their thing. Used for high-level festive functions in addition to meetings and consultations. So a lot like, what is the Pentagon, not the Pentagon in the White House, that's the office. I don't know, there's a building and I can't think of the name, but it's like that building in the United States. It has nearly 3,000 square meters of floor space, which I thought was crazy. And they also spelled meters different. And then is located at the corner of those 2 provinces.
Oh, come on, try it.
Pojo. I don't even know. Marion, yeah, that one's a little easier. And then I was able to find a couple links that show more of the White House. Yeah, okay. One's not hyperlinked, but it's okay. So this is the brochure, but unfortunately it's all in a different language. But there are pictures, so I thought that was really important because it shows inside of the house. Okay, so you can see the outside. I'm really kind of excited to walk by because it looks like it has a very historical figure and it just looks really beautiful.
Isn't there guards outside it?
I don't know.
Because I don't like the Queen's Palace, they have like guards standing outside, so I didn't know, like.
I would assume if there's some kind of function.
There's,
there,
I think there's like the court. What do I want to say? The
Changing of the
courtyard, maybe. So there, that's the only thing I could think of with guards, but they didn't say specifically like that there was security on the outside, which I mean I'm sure there is.
Since
But
it's not used for the actual, like where the president lives, then yeah, I'm sure that when the president is there, there will be guards. But if it's not there, unless there's some kind of function, you might see them. I don't know why they wouldn't have.
yeah, it sounded like it's kind of a really private building. Not much besides like meetings and stuff go on, and I'm gonna say boring stuff. But yeah, I thought it was really pretty. And again, I wanted to put these pictures on the PowerPoint, but I found the brochure. So I really wish I knew what it said, but I was going to try and find an English version, but I couldn't because the website was all in a different language, but you were able to convert it. But the brochure, I looked around and that was not available. But you can kind of see all the different rooms, and it's really pretty. Let's kind of scroll fast. And like, it didn't say that they have really any social gatherings besides like if you're a higher authority. So, kind of a shame because it's really pretty. So yeah, a lot of historical artifacts and.
A lot of domes in that.
Yeah,
building, too.
it's so pretty. It's really sad that it's not available to the
That's
public.
that Russian architecture again coming in. Like,
Okay.
all right, let's see this renovation.
All right. I don't know how important it is going to be to hear it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Do I need to plug it into the speaker?
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad.
Oh, there's some cards.
Darn.
Tämä työ tuli suunnitteluun, niin me haluttiin hakea tähän semmoinen ajallinen päivitys. Tässä oli jotenkin aikakausi hämärtynyt ja haluttiin sitä päivittää niin kuin ottaen huomioon rakennusajankohdat ja minkälaisia tyylejä silloin on ollut voimassa, kun kukin rakennusosa on tehty. Ja sitten oli tietenkin käyttäjällä paljon toiveita ja pudotettiin hyvin paljon tietenkin tähän tunnelmaan, mikä näkyy nyt sitten esimerkiksi tämmöisissä tilasarjojen värityksissä ja siinä, että on talotekniikkaa ja kaikkea, mikä tänne väkisinkin sitten tulee korjatin myötä on piilotettu sikäli kuin mahdollista. Ja uudet kalusteet ja vanhat kunnostetut kalusteet ja kaikkien näiden yhteisvaikutuksesta on pyritty luomaan kokonaisuus tästä linnasta.
Figures aren't as cool as Britain's.
Onneksi täällä on juhlatilat, edustustilat ja sitten täällä on ihan normaali virastokäyttö. Ja sitten tietenkin kaikki huoltoa palvelevat tilat, mitä täällä oli osittain aika puutteellisiakin. Ja ymmärtääkseni tämä nyt toimii ja on hengeltään niin myös tällainen tilojen visuaalinen luokitus käytön mukaan. Tässä on presidentin työhuone. Ja sitten on keltainen sali, josta nykyään en tiedä käytetäänkö vielä keltaista salia, siitä tuli vähän kultaisempi. Sitten on odotushuone ja tuo punainen tila oli ennen rouvien huone. Mutta rouvien tai puolisoiden vuorokuvat on nyt siirretty atriumin parvelle. Presidentti ja rintakuvat on siinä kerrosta alempana samassa tilassa. Itse juhlatiloihin ei kauhean paljon siis näitä saleja. Niissä on tehty korkealaista salia lukunottamatta, mutta aika vähän parannuksia. Valaistus on kokonaan uusi. Kovin paljon mietittiin, täällä oli ennen lampetit seinillä. Ja nyt valo oli riittänyt ja mietittiin, mikä se voisi olla ja millainen muoto, onko se pitkä vai onko se pohjoismaisen paalaisin ilmeisesti aika hyvin valoa myös katon kautta ei suorasti. Täällä oli sitten jossain vaiheessa ihan varmaan ajasta oli katsomaan tumman vihreäksi, mikä on aika synkkäinen matalassa tilassa. Ja näitä väritutkimuksia tehdessä sitten löydettiin alikana värikerroksena samen värinen samen harmaa väri ja maaltien vaikutuksesta. Se on sitä arkkitehdin arkipäivää, että täytyy sovittaa hyvin monenlaisia käytännön ratkaisuja, teknisiä ratkaisuja, keskustella museoviranomaisten kanssa, käyttäjien kanssa. Ja sitten on viranomaismääräykset tietysti ihan oma juttunsa ja kaikki tämä. Ja sitten vielä me haluttaisiin vähän omaakin näkemys siihen päälle.
So, and the website, the URL below it, or above it, I guess, in white, is a website that the brochure was listed on, and that lists like the more details of the different wings. And there are some fun facts. It overlooks the Baltic Sea. I thought this was really interesting. Presidents George W. Bush and Donald Trump have attended meetings in this building. And then to follow up on that, they do a lot of meetings with like Russia due to, I'll just read it. Finland has a long legacy of hosting U.S., Soviet, and Russian summits due to location and neutrality. So it's just a good meeting spot. And then Finland also a very laid back, calm country. So they meet there, kind of, I guess, bring two people into the atmosphere of calmness. So nothing crazy happens. And then it underwent renovation in 2015. Built for wealthy Finnish merchants, and then I thought this was kind of interesting. On the website that was listed, the president's term, it said 12 years. That's what everyone's terms were 12 years, and I thought that was very interesting since the United States can go maximum of 8, and this is usually the minimum of 12. So, and they had female presidents too, so it was really interesting. And then here are my resources. So, yeah. Again, this was a very hard one to find information on. I only found, like, these websites are the same, and I found, like, an article, but it was kind of tough.
All right, thank you. So I look forward to that actual event when we go there.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Let's see how that goes. Okay, it is 4. Oh, thank you. It is 4:42. And that's really all we have time for today, unless you want to do another game, another tic-tac-toe game. I can tell Julie does.
I kind of want
Julie's ready to roll.
Really stressful. We were looking at the entire book, not just chapter 5.
Yes. So we're only on chapter 5. So, so what we'll do, I mean, we need to cover chapter 5 a little more in detail. So we'll finish that. I'll give you a study guide next week, and then we will take a test sometime down the road from that. I haven't set the test in stone yet, but again, all of the questions from the test will come directly from your PowerPoints and your presentations that you have presented on and about.
Can you double check that you got mine? I sent it to you, but I don't know if you know what it is?
Yeah, you want me to do it right this second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will we have a discussion board this week?
I hope so.
Okay.
That's what we're most
I was gonna ask a question about that. Discussion boards have like 100 points. And I don't think we've had 10 discussion boards to have 100 points, so I didn't know, like, we were gonna, I don't know.
should
I was
talk.
just looking at the syllabus.
Yeah, sorry, it's just because it was behind the. Come on, little guy. Come on, I'm over here.
Because that looks like 2017. I don't think that's the right one.
It's not the right one. Okay, so yeah, when we talk about the discussion boards, yeah, if we have 10, we have 10, and that'll make it easy. If we don't, I'll adjust the points accordingly to make sure. I mean, you've all done. Okay, I can't say all of you. Most of you have done all of them that you need to do and been participating, but. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because that'll be like your last major assignment, basically.
Yeah.
Is you'll turn in your journal with the reflection piece. Yes.
Are you gonna have us do it like last time I did this? Like we did a journal about like what we learned in class and like periodically like that kind of thing, or are you gonna have us do it all at the end? Because we did like an in-class one and then trip one, but we turned it in at the same time. It was on like the same.
I was only going to have you do one over the trip.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Sammy, I don't see anything from you about.
Because I shared it through Google Slides.
Oh well, that would be in my other. Hold on. That would be in this situation here.
Are you incognito right now? No, it's all black up top.
No, it's all black because it's space.
Oh, this is the theme you got?
Yeah, it's a theme I have.
I got you.
If you don't have any questions for me, you are ready to go. Make sure you have read the entire book, and that you've gone through it and you've highlighted the different pieces and parts that are interesting to you or things you have questions about. Again, next week, be planning on getting stuff for your test and study guides, and that should be about it. And then when we actually take the test, I'll let you know when the test is. I'll let you know when the test is, and then we'll go from there. We'll do open book, open notes, open PowerPoints, Google Slides, that kind of thing.
No, I haven't.
Yeah. You're the last one?
It says it's shared to you as SVA.
Okay, you would be, did you do cuisine?
No, I did.
Oh,
It should be bright orange.
svot.approved.edu.
Yeah, that's what it's shared to.
I'll just Spencer Dotbot at campus.peru.edu. Yeah, you missed the review, you missed the,
What review?
the chapter 5 review.
Oh, okay.
So we just did a quick,
Well, I can
quiz
post it
game show.
online too, so I guess.
Yeah, and then I'll post it online. And then you missed the carrying the suitcases.
Yeah,
and,
I'm packing very carefully,
Yeah.
just because, like, I carry on this backpack and this is probably like at least 15 pounds, 20. It's probably more than that. But like,